Hey, you're watching the Waffle Press TV Hangouts. My name is Diego Crespo, and I am your host, along with another wonderful host I have here with me.
And Mighty Sophia in the house.
There we go. How are we doing today, Mighty Sophia?
We are alive and well, far more awake than I have been in recent Disney recovery days. And I just watched the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, so I've got a lot of stuff buzzing around in my head.
Oh, yeah. Really quick, though, this is going to be our rundown for today. We're going to talk a little bit of Game of Thrones because we're both huge fans of that. Emily does reviews on her channel, and I believe you podcast with someone else on their channel about Game of Thrones. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. That is on the Richmond Filmcast with my friend Wes Richmond. We've been doing weekly podcasts on that too. So lots of Game of Thrones content going on.
Yes, and links down to that in the doobie-doo. But yes, we're talking halfway through Game of Thrones, our thoughts on the season so far. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. renewal because, thank God, I was getting a little worried for a while. And then what happened to the Mockingbird spinoff, because that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then we're going to wrap up for like 100 hours on everything that happened in the season 2 finale because so much happened. But let's just dive right on into it. What are your thoughts on Game of Thrones so far this season?
I love this season. I have been just having the damned funnest time watching it, and I don't know where everybody else is at. I haven't been reading tons of reviews about the episodes or anything. I usually try and do that even before I do my own reviews of material just to kind of see who thinks what and take the temperature of the fan community. It's something I try and do. But with this season, I've just been kind of kicking back and letting it take me where it's going to go. And also, I mean, as one who has not read the books, I'm just sort of, I sit and I watch my brother, who is an avid book fan, just kind of losing his mind and not knowing what to do with himself. And I'm just like, whatever. There's going to be a battle, and I'm excited. I think it's so cool the way that everything is being set up, and there's a lot of steam and tension that's even being released along the way. So it's not just this great big constipation leading to the battle at Winterfell and Stannis's charge to the Iron Throne. I mean, there's all these things that are happening at disparate parts in the world, but they all feel so interconnected at the same time. Even like thematically, each episode has just been crafted really well, has been visually breathtaking. I mean, the last episode.
Oh man, those shots. Yeah.
Just beautiful. Like I am astonished at just how they keep taking it up a notch. I mean, we're heading into new lands and new territories, and the way that the camera just sort of invites us into that is so magnificent and just makes it such a pleasure to watch unfold, and everything that's going on with the characters and with Sansa and Winterfell and Jon teaming up with the wildlings, and Stannis is on his way out and Dany is doing stuff. Tyrion is on his way, and Jorah, and like just all the pieces are in motion. There's really not a lot that has felt stagnant to me at all. So I'm loving it. I think it's good fun.
Yeah, as an avid book reader of the series, I was not concerned, just curious, very curious about how all this stuff would have been handled.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's some new material that's going on. Like I think the 4th episode was entirely new material, if I recall.
Oh,
I guess spoilers, obviously, for the midway points of season 5 of Game of Thrones and everything up to that, obviously. Yeah. Barristan Selmy didn't die in the books. He's alive.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was like, what? No, what? What? No way. Because, I mean, I like that, the way it's played out, though. I mean, everything's falling to different areas of writing, but it's not shoddy writing.
Yeah.
and it is very well told. And yeah, thematically, every episode is consistent, and they got their own little stuff going on each episode. Because I mean, that's a beautiful thing about Game of Thrones. They have like dozens upon dozens of plot lines and characters to
Hmm.
follow, but they all tie
Yeah.
into each other, whether or not it's through story or through family lines or just thematically. And that's good writing. Whether or not we actually like these characters, I think that's impressive, you
Yeah.
know. And the Sansa stuff is really, really exciting to me because
Hmm.
she wasn't there in the books either. She doesn't
Yeah.
get married to what's his face from Misfits.
Ramsey.
Thank you, Ramsay Snow. Bolton now. Bolton. That's right. I forgot
Hmm.
about that. Yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah.
season's so exciting, and the cinematography, holy shit! I'm gonna put a picture up on this of one of my favorite images from the entire show. Now is where Tyrion and Jorah are
Hmm.
are by the where Valeria. They're by
Valeria, yeah.
Valeria, and it's just
Hmm.
such a beautifully composed image that like, oh man, this is one of the
Yeah.
best looking shows ever. I think Hannibal's still the best.
Oh, yeah. That's on a whole nother level.
But I mean, there's so much happening. I don't know where the season's headed because
Hmm.
now I'm in new waters like all of the non-book readers, and that's exciting to me because I like
Yeah.
most of what they've done to change up the material. Because by this point, the books are slow.
Hmm.
they're slow, and not a lot happens anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like everything's evolving constantly, and I
Totally.
particularly love the addition of Tyrion's buddy, who can't remember Braun and
Yeah.
Jamie. That's so fun. It's exciting.
I know. It's just so swashbuckling. It makes me really happy to see the two of them going together, and it just makes a lot of sense. I enjoy that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as do I. Um, I mean, there's a whole lot to talk about. We'll definitely be doing like a whole season review at the
Hmm.
end of this thing. But as of right now, do you have a favorite story that you're following in the series?
Oh my gosh. I am just so what do I like the most? I'm trying to think of what's been getting me the most excited like week after week. I think it's been wow. My my brain is like right. I'm trying to come off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna remember everything that happened, and now I'm like, wait, what's going on again?
No, that's okay. I could let you stall for time while I
I
divulge
do.
mine.
I have really been enjoying stuff in Winterfell because I have just been like, all my oh shit moments are happening in Winterfell right now. I think that's been huge. And from what I hear in the books, Sansa's been stuck in the Vale, engaged to her sickly cousin, and just not a lot going on for her at the moment. And so the fact that she is in definitely the most happening and dynamic place to be right now because Stannis is on her or on her way. Stannis is on his way and his army and his family too. Why not bring the whole gang? And then like Brienne and Podrick are still kind of hovering in the distance. I think that I think it's quite possible there's going to be a Brienne and Stannis confrontation at some point because they wouldn't just have her talk about her grudge against Stannis for no reason and in no uncertain terms state that she would love to kill him. Um, and then, of course, with what's going on with the Boltons, and then Sansa's receiving these cryptic messages about how the North remembers, go to the tower, and if you ever need help, and it's like, is that connected to Brienne? And so she is in one of the most fascinating positions right now, and could very well become like the wardeness of the North, and she is home, but everything around her is so broken, so different, and the way that she's adapting to that. And now, of course, spoilers for the latest episode, having encountered Theon for the first time, too, it's just like, oh man, things are getting ready to hit the fan there. So I think that is my favorite part right now. I don't
No,
know.
that was actually my favorite part, but that's fine. That's
Oh
fine.
no.
No. I mean, that's Sansa's been my favorite character for a while,
Yeah.
so I'm always drawn to her stories. This one is so. It's good to be excited about her character because that's what I was worried about. Like, are they going to keep her in the veil the whole time for like
Yeah.
3 years, whatever the hell? But no, this
Hmm.
is great. I mean, it's a little more traditional medieval stuff, like fantasy, like they gotta save the princess type of thing. But
Right.
obviously, I think that's not going to work out well in
Hmm.
everyone's favor. And sometimes it is a little nice just to just embrace that trope, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's less about filling a trope thing and it's
Hmm.
about these characters fulfilling these roles and taking on these types
Yeah.
of adventures. And God, I barely love any characters more than I do the characters of Game of Thrones.
Hmm.
And I am a little worried for Brienne, especially because her and Potter are
Yeah.
by themselves, and they
Hmm.
got to face Stannis probably. Because I want them to team up to save Sansa, but I
Yeah.
don't think she will.
No, because I mean, she continues to go back to the oath that she's sworn, and just against all odds, against all sense, she is given every opportunity to go forth and to do something else with her life. But she is committed to Catelyn Stark. And I think the fact that she is committed to hating Stannis means that she is going down with that to her grave if necessary. And it also intertwines with her desire to protect the Stark progeny as well. So she is closest to Sansa right now. She knows that she is in a very dangerous place. And then, oh hey, Stannis, the guy who killed the your former master, all this stuff, like it's just I love the character of Brienne, but I am really scared for her, and I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot to talk about. You want to say anything else before we move on to our next subject? Because there's a lot more to talk about with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too.
Yeah, there is. I will just say one thing that I think what's coolest about this season is the fact that we have a lot of young, like up and coming leaders. And now the charge for the throne is beginning. Like, this is the very tip of the iceberg of what I think is maybe the end game of the show. That's not to say that it's going to be ending soon, but the ball is now rolling because we have Dany, who little does she know that political help is on the way. So even though she is definitely dedicated to substantiating herself and her reign in Marine, there's other stuff coming. And so she's sort of a candidate. I mean, Jon Snow as Lord Commander is making a lot of really interesting choices and has come into power, and he's finding his footing in that. And then Stannis and Cersei, and there's just this great big giant power struggle that's at play. And I think that is and there's been a lot of parallelism between the characters because of that. And I think the cohesion of it all, even though they're all on different sides of the world, just makes me really excited and really invested in what's going on.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
eventually all these plot lines are going to converge, and it's going to be nasty, and everyone's going to
Mm-hmm.
die because it's Game of Thrones. How could they not?
Straight up.
I hope we start seeing that sooner. And I've always said this since I started watching Game of Thrones and I read the books.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to see Jon and Tyrion meet up again because their dynamic in just the first
Yeah.
couple of episodes is so exciting to me. Like they just
Yeah.
make sense to pair them together because they're both outcasts and they've had to make
Mm-hmm.
their own way in the world. And right now, one of them's doing good and is hated for it. One of them's doing terrible and is hated even more for it. So it's like
Yep.
they're just bros. They're made for each other, Bro TP,
I think
as
so.
they could
Yeah.
say. All right, well that's our thoughts on
Sounds
Game of
good.
Thrones season 5 or 5.5 right now. Yeah. And
Yes.
now we're gonna move over to some Agent Carter, Agent Shield renewal stuff. What did
Mm-hmm.
you think of the renewal? Because you and I were both worried about Agent Carter after a really great first season.
Yeah.
It wasn't looking good.
Yeah, I was very excited about that announcement. It was very sudden. I The only reason that I knew about it in the first place is because I follow Haley Atwell on Twitter, and she was just this constant outpouring of thank you, thank you, thank you, posting all these pictures of fan art and stuff, and just there's just this explosion of love in the Agent Carter fan community that sort of mushroomed out and took me along with it. So I was very excited, and I think it's great that this is something that they're investing in, that we're going to see more of this. And interesting too that they're going to be switching up the location for it as well. I don't know if
Yeah,
you heard about that.
I did. L.A. That's where I'm
Yeah.
at. So maybe I could even catch Haley Atwell just walking the
Oh,
streets. She'd be like,
oh,
"Hey, you're filming the thing." Oh my!
my
I wouldn't be able to
gosh.
speak. Yeah, I'd just be like, "Oh, pretty."
Hi.
Yeah, like I'd be a
You're great.
mess. Yeah, you're great. I love you. Wait, no, damn it. I do, but damn it, No, I like that though, because I mean, New York's cool, but we all know LA's is kind of cool beans too. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how if there's gonna be a time jump. Also, I mean, I don't
Mhm.
think it should be too big. I like the time period it's in. We don't
Yeah.
need to see like 50s or 60s yet. I don't think.
No.
Yeah, I'd also like to see her go more global too. Like,
Hmm.
um, I want to see like an Indiana Jones type vibe with Haley
Yeah.
Atwell. Like, oh, that'd be so cool. Uh, I do like that the character of Dottie, or her fake name Dottie, is
Hmm.
like this recurring villain, I assume, because she's
Yeah.
basically just Black Widow but evil.
Hmm.
Or she is a Black Widow. They just haven't really said it in the show, but they said that's the
Right.
program she went
Yeah.
through. I mean,
Yeah.
I have no idea what they could do. I assume more Hydra stuff or Leviathan stuff because they didn't really defeat
Mhm.
them. They just kind of fought a guy and a evil Black Widow. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not complaining entirely. It's just like kind of wish Leviathan had been
Hmm.
bigger. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll see more of it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's quite possible. And I read this the story earlier, the one that was talking about the fact that they're moving to LA. So kind of the tentative synopsis that they have for the beginning of this the new season is this. So dedicated to the fight against new atomic age threats in the wake of World War II, Peggy must now journey from New York City to Los Angeles for her most dangerous assignment yet. But even as she discovers new friends, a new home, and perhaps even a new love, she is about to find out that the bright lights of the post war Hollywood mask a more sinister threat to everyone she is sworn to protect. So that's a little
Huh.
taste, I suppose. I'm still just ambiguous enough. I just hope Jarvis is in it, honestly.
Yeah, me too. If Jarvis isn't in it,
He,
like, what are you even doing? Like with their
no,
lives? What are you
it's
doing?
wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, it would be
It's wrong.
unacceptable. You cannot do
Yeah.
that.
He is definitely one of my favorite aspects of the first season. Just so well acted and goofy and fun. He's kind of the Kyle MacLachlan of Agent Carter, I think.
Yeah.
It's certainly they're not exactly peas of a pod, but it's that same kind of character that's like they're just such a standout and so quirky and distinct that I think it would be a really big shame to miss out on him in this season. So hopefully he'll come along for the ride to LA. That would be pretty cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm guessing she's like flying solo now because
Mm-hmm.
the SSR. That's what she worked for, I believe.
Yeah.
She's done. So I mean,
Yep.
that's kind of cool. I love that classic. You got to do one more job type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. 24 did it like 8 times like a season. So
Yeah.
if they could do it, Agent Carter can do it.
Yep.
All right. Would you want to see any, or who do you want to guest star? And like, if you can get any period type actor, like anybody from the time period.
Wow, that's a great question. I'm trying to see if I can pull from the movie hat in my brain, see who's in there. I assume that you probably have some names on your list,
Oh yeah.
which I would
Number
love to
one.
hear.
Number one,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Chandler. 'Cause I don't know if you've
Oh,
seen the Peter Jackson King Kong.
yes, I have.
Yes, I
Oh,
love it. I don't care what anyone says. It's a little too long, but I don't care. It's epic. That's what it is. But Kyle Chandler fit in perfectly with that 1920s time period.
mm-hmm.
It's like kind of blends over into the next 30 or 40 years. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
bring him on. Give him a big old mustache. Give him some slick back hair. Give him a cocky
straight up.
persona. Or just have him play his character from King Kong.
Yes, you totally could. I completely forgotten about him. And then when you bring that up, it's like, yeah, duh. Of course. He needs to be here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My other one that will never, ever, ever happen is Sean Connery because he's retired, but
Mm.
it'd be the best. Like just again, like he was in the Untouchables, and that's 1920s. So just bring that in the forefront of
Yeah,
this.
that's
But
a good
yeah, no,
idea.
he hates movies because he's old and grumpy, and the League of
Yeah.
Extraordinary Gentlemen killed his career. So yeah.
Poor guy.
Mhm.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that's a really good idea. I'm trying to I had something in my head earlier. I mean, like, I'm thinking of a lot of film actors, you know, the kind that you've never even seen on TV. And so there's that part of you that's like, I don't want to hope, but I
But
do.
hey, TV's getting big.
It
Yeah,
is. It is. It's becoming pretty serious business. I mean, there's a lot that is happening in the silver screen world, and I think we all best start taking it seriously.
I
And
agree.
people who don't can go away
Yeah,
forever,
just leave,
just
go away,
disappear. No,
be
we don't need
gone,
you.
vanish, leave.
You know, I was thinking, I think at some other point, I don't remember what show we were talking about, but we were talking about Leonardo DiCaprio for something, and he still is just like floating around in my mind. Was that Hannibal?
I
Was that
think for
Hannibal?
Hannibal, and then I mentioned I always wanted him on Boardwalk Empire because Martin
Oh,
Scorsese produced it,
yes.
and that would have been the best thing ever. But nobody listened to me
Mhm.
on Twitter, so
Yep.
the hell, guys. But
Mm.
yeah, I'd like to see him on Agent Carter. You know,
Oh yeah.
I doubt that'll ever happen because he
Oh yeah,
has.
just as Jay Gatsby. Just
Yeah, there you go.
that would be really fun. Just a little literary crossover. Why not? You know, that'd be
And then
fun.
like they're old friends, and he'd be like, "Oh, hello, old sport," and then that's his line of dialogue through the whole show. He just says
Yes.
sport, like between syllables.
I know that is a really great idea. I'm gonna write that story if it doesn't happen. You know, do a little Gatsby, Agent Carter. I could see it.
I can dig it.
That'd be
I can dig
good.
it. And
Yeah.
then next up, the Mockingbird spinoff that we talked about a little bit that we were not too hot on
Mm-hmm.
is not going to happen because first I thought
Yeah.
it was because they were to kill off Bobby Morse in the finale, which we'll get to
Mm-hmm.
later, and that scared the shit out of me because I really like that
Yeah.
character. But no, just they decided not to. I mean, they've producers have talked about it and said, oh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just wasn't in our best interest right now. We like these characters on this show, and
Yeah.
yes, I mean that's what we were saying. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it felt like they were pretty intent on doing it, and now it just kind of feels like something else happened.
Yeah, it really does make you wonder because I do find it believable that they would hold off in order to invest in the characters and their role on the show. But yeah, you're right. Like there seemed to be such a push behind it for them that it makes you wonder what's really going on behind the curtain, you know? Um, I think at the end of the day, it is a wise choice, and I'm going to find peace with it, especially when the new season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. starts. And there's just a lot of ripe territory to explore in the show still. And I think it would be a real loss to just kind of divorce Mockingbird from all of that. But it does make you wonder. It gives you pause, you know? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah, there's always, especially with Marvel, who are like everyone loves them, but at the same time, behind the scenes, they've been known to be kind of cutthroat. I mean, there's a
Hmm.
reason why the movies are doing so well, and not a lot of directors like working with them a lot. A lot of their movies are one and
Yeah.
done, and maybe their shows are like that too. I don't know. I mean,
Hmm.
their shows seem like they get along better, but I don't know. Food for
Yeah.
thought. I'm glad they're staying on the show though.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. Because and over the course of watching the finale episodes, I was definitely thinking the same as you that like we're gonna lose Hunter or Bobby by the end. They really made it seem that way, and they certainly pulled out a few stops that I didn't see coming. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be really cool to see where they go see where they go now from what has happened. And yeah, I really hope that that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. continues on for as long as possible and that the ratings go up. People who stopped watching the show get in the program because it's kind of a big deal now. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, they've really planted their flag in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I still don't want to see Coulson in the movies. I love Agent Coulson, but I feel like his story there's done. But I want to see him in TV shows.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
totally.
And yeah, on that note, let's talk about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 2 finale, SOS parts 1 and 2.
Yes.
I got it. I remember it in the finale. I didn't write that one down. I just remembered.
Hey.
All right. Well, this is a lot to talk about. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down into sections a little bit, discussing the original team, the core 6 members, and then the rest of the S.H.I.E.L.D. team, including Mockingbird and Agent Hunter, Lance Hunter, I think. Yeah. I remembered his name too. And then the Inhuman stuff at the end. And of course, Kyle MacLachlan, wonderful, wonderful Kyle MacLachlan, who was cheesy as ever here, and I adored it. Let's talk about Agent Coulson.
Yes.
What do you think of his stuff in this episode? Because he's gone through a lot, but I feel like he hasn't had as prominent of an arc. Like, he's been a consistent character, but that's not a negative. It's like Captain America to me, you know?
Totally. He's been at the center of a lot. And I think more of what we've gotten to see in this season has been people sort of reacting to him. And he's just trying to hold his own. You know, he knows that he was pretty much born to be in this position and that he has really earned his place, and he wants to do everything that he can to protect people no matter what, you know, no matter how many shields there are, come whatever may. He's just looking to stay in the game and do what he can to just make things right and hold down the fort. And we see that a lot of people are very hotly contesting his position, and Mac straight up decides to quit, although that doesn't work out, and he ends up coming right back around to save his life. But yeah, so that's kind of the interesting epiphany that I had about Coulson earlier, is that you're right, he hasn't really had a tremendous arc in and of himself, but what has been kind of major for him is his relationship with Skye, and how he has always been her advocate, and everything that he has tried to do has been in her interest and out of care for her. And in that regard, he is able to straight up team up with Mr. Hyde himself in order to save the day and to help Hyde/Cal save his family. It's really incredibly powerful. And I'm so glad that got to happen. And now, just as we thought we were maybe going to lose Coulson once more, there is something that fundamentally is altered about his person, but he's still in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he lost his hand. Yep. that sucks for him, but at the same time, he got his life saved by Mac, which I think is a pretty big moment for that character. Because, I mean, we got to remember, Mac's not a douchebag. He's just like, I don't trust Coulson. And then now, ironically, the most violent thing he's ever done to Coulson is also kind of a statement about how he will fight for him by cutting off his hand. It sounds weird, but when you watch it, it makes the most sense.
It was I was making jokes with my brother the entire time that we were watching the episode about how Mac got to be like Axe Cop. Have you heard about that? He was straight up Axe Cop.
That's great.
That was his role in the episode. And I found that, I mean, I'm really glad that they did that with him, because I was pretty pissed off at Mac. I was just like, get out. Like, who are you even? And now he sort of realizes that just as he's about to take off, and just as he thinks there's nothing that can change his mind, he realizes, this is why I've been a part of this team. This is why I'm here. Like, he sees something to resist, and it pulls him back into S.H.I.E.L.D. because being a part of S.H.I.E.L.D., he resists this evil, this danger, this war that never needed to happen. And he kind of takes up his axe and, you know, like a regular Gimli. But
much taller and darker.
Yeah, little cut from a different cloth, I suppose, but hey, you know, so that was pretty great. Yeah. Oh man.
You know, I'm wondering what Coulson's gonna do next season. I think well, again, I guess spoilers for all of this. I feel like a season finale review doesn't need to be noted for spoilers because you got to talk
Yeah.
about everything. But yeah, if you didn't know that, oops. I'm wondering what his stuff's going to be next season because producers have said they're going to take more inspiration from the Secret Warriors comics, right? Yes, I have it in my notes, and that is
Okay.
it's basically Secret Avengers typey, more spy stuff. So basically,
Hmm.
what the show's been doing, but
Yeah.
incorporating more superpowered stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
which is
cool.
kind of set up at the very end when Coulson and Daisy slash Sky go to visit Kyle one more time, and he's like, "Okay, are we gonna do this for real? Like, find a way to bring powered people into what we do, but without having to expose them by putting them on the index, you know." Um, yeah, so they did a pretty good job of setting up a lot of different avenues that they can explore. And I think that in the last few episodes of this season, we've gotten to see the powered people really come into play in a big way. And I think that it's about time that we get a full-fledged team to work with Shield to do so in a more, clandestine way. But I think that's really cool. And they don't have to just be isolated in the world. They can do something to be a part of the world, unlike what Jiaying had envisioned, although that's a whole nother story we can get into.
Oh yeah, we'll
You
get
know.
into that one in a second.
Yeah.
But there is one character already who's willing to fight on Coulson's superhero team, and that's Sky or Daisy Johnson. I
Hmm.
think we'll just keep calling her Sky. I don't know what
Yeah.
she prefers. Maybe we'll find out next season. But
Yeah.
she had a big little arc the entire show so far,
Hmm.
and it's so funny because looking back, we always talk about looking back at the beginning. It's like
Yeah.
who cares about Sky? Like I like the actress and I
Hmm.
like the character well enough at the beginning, but it's like I don't care about the mystery behind her parents. I want to know who she is now. And then
Yeah.
now kind of a beautiful mesh of both of those
Hmm.
ideas, and it informed the last half of the season a lot. And
Yeah.
finding out who she is by finding her parents, it's like, oh, okay, you got it. You
That
did it.
makes sense. Yeah. I mean, what's funny, and we've discussed this before, is the fact that they tried to make Sky special in our eyes before she really had something that distinguished her and kind of pulled her out of the pack. She was just somebody that Shield picked up and she started training with them. They're like, oh, she's going to be the center of everything. And it's like, why? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Sure, she's a cool person, but now we see why they were trying to shove her down our throats initially. And she actually is one of my favorite characters. And I don't get to say that often, to see a character just get completely transformed before my eyes, going from who the crap are you, go away, to oh my gosh, what's going on with her? I wonder what's going to happen. And I mean, her role in this final episode was really huge. What I found interesting was the fact that she found out pretty early into part one of the finale that what Jiaying was actually up to. It was about like, maybe even 20 minutes in, which I thought that maybe the second episode was going to be her figuring that out. But they certainly have a really nice build up for what ultimately transpires, like the final confrontation with Jiaying and getting to be reunited with her family only one last time in order to end it all. And it's this big like movie moment. I mean, so cataclysmic in the show. I was floored by how um it was very poignant and emotional, everything that she's had to endure, and then finally getting to like come to some level of peace with her family, and now figuring out her role as a leader of the Inhumans, like as had been predicted earlier on. So seeing her come into that place is really cool, and she has matured so ridiculously much. But she's still Sky somewhere
Yeah,
deep down.
she's still a kid, but
Yeah.
she's grown a lot. And
Oh yeah.
I'm wondering. Oh, obviously we're gonna see more human stuff, but are they gonna incorporate a lot more directly
Mm-hmm.
into Shield? And it's just all these exciting prospects. And
Yeah.
I was actually kind of worried she might die.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got genuinely concerned for a lot of these, for all the characters at
Yeah.
one point. Where before I was like, I like these guys, and I'm kind of stuck if they die, but
Hmm.
TV. Now I'm like, no, don't die. Nobody die.
I know it's crazy, yeah, like just how invested the show has made us become in all these characters. And even though some people were complaining that the last episodes were too full and too much, it's like, but what else did you expect? I mean, even though there was a lot at play, everything still kind of led up to this.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like Agents of Shield builds up better than it pays off. Here, I
yeah.
kind of wish we had a little more build up. Not that it wasn't
Mhm.
enough, just I feel a little more could have worked better in its
Yeah,
favor. But the payoff is like the payoff I've always wanted from this show. And
totally.
even the stuff with Grant Ward was
Hmm.
it worked better than I thought it would because I was like, this doesn't connect to anything, and it
Yeah.
really doesn't. it,
No.
it's like kind of Thor's thing in Age of Ultron. No spoilers for that movie, or I guess if you're watching Agents of Shield, you saw it already, so who cares? Where he kind of goes off and does his own thing, and it's like, oh, that's Thor stuff. That has nothing to
Yeah.
do with Ultron, really. Ties a little bit into Vision, and so
Hmm.
that's kind of what happens here. Him and Karen, I think her name was Agent
Yeah.
33,
Hmm.
where they're kidnapped Bobby, and her and Hunter get sidelined like entirely in the last episode of the season. But that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't the focus. They were nice
Hmm.
little additions. So that was nice. And I thought Bobby was dead. I thought,
Hmm.
oh my god, he got shot in the back of the head. That's why they're not doing the spinoff
Yeah.
crap.
Yep. I had that moment too where it was just like, oh no, you didn't. No, you did not. It was really interesting how they worked Ward and Agent 33 into the end of that, because it did sort of seem like, wait, why? Like why is this happening? But um there's this whole idea, of course, of like closure and what it really means to be. There's a lot of thematic stuff, I think, to kind of find in what transpired with them, and then it gives the impetus for Ward to become a part of something totally different.
Yeah, I'm so
Woo!
excited. Like he was a good antagonist. It was
Mm,
antagonist for the back half of the season a lot. The
yeah,
first half, he's like, "I'm sorry, come, just hug it out," and everyone's like, "No, fuck off! What are you doing?
yeah, go
You're trying to
away.
kill two of us. Like, why the hell would you think that?" And now he's just going full villain. I'd like and
Yeah.
to have him accidentally kill Karen by May planting
Hmm.
that little seed. Like, oh, that's fucked up.
Oh, that was
And
so good. So good.
yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, and then it clicked. I was like, that's not May. I was like, oh,
Oh,
oh
whoops.
no, she didn't.
You
But she
done
did.
goofed.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a serious goof, you know.
serious whoopsie.
Yeah.
Little ding dong there.
Oh, my bad. You know.
And he put like 10 bullets in her. It was just like boom, 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 boom. Oh, honey, are you okay, sweetie?
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I was honestly getting super irritated with Ward and Agent 33. I mean, I think I had been for a while just because of the weird like lovey-dovey thing going on. I'm just like, why are they so devoted to each other? I mean, I guess there's different ways to see it, but I was more kind of irritated with it for a while. So it was very much catharsis to see that finally brought to a close, and that before that, Ward and Bobby were speaking while she was still being tortured, and she was like, you're always trying to find someone else to blame, and that's why he's like going all ham for Agent 33, trying to help her get her resolution, even though it was just part of the job. So he's like sort of brainwashed himself against accepting any responsibility for what's transpired, which is why he acts like such a jerk off when he's back with the original team, because he has no sense of remorse and it's somebody else's fault. My family traumatized me and boo-hoo wah wah. And then he has this moment of like, I just killed the woman I love. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Hydra.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's left of them? Because I mean, there's sort of there, and I like that they mentioned that
Yeah.
because if you're just watching the movies and you kind of hop back and forth between the show, it's like, yeah, Hydra's kind of overdone a little bit. I mean, I think it's great that they're a recurring villain for like the entire universe. I think that's one of the best things to
Yeah.
come out of the Winter Soldier. It's like, oh, now you've got this great villain that you could pop in wherever you need him on planet Earth. That's great. It's comic booky. And then here it's like, well, there's not a lot of them left, but I just love that idea that he blames everyone else for his problems. He's never matured mentally, I guess. He was just like, no, it's not my fault. Like, you broke that dish. No, you made me because you asked me to put it away. If you hadn't asked me to put it away, I wouldn't have dropped it. So
yes, that is exactly who he is. And so finally he has something that he has to take ownership of. And it's sort of a double thing when you think about it too, because he was going to kill May, who was someone else who he'd been with before, and then in sort of fake killing May, he actually killed Agent 33. So it's a double whammy when you really think about it, because you have to psychologically shift from I just killed this person who I used to like serve alongside to I killed the woman I love. So that just kind of like the dominoes all tumble over, and he's like, okay, that's it. I'm starting anew. I'm going to recreate myself in this way. We don't know what that's going to look like 100% yet, but it's happening. He's going back.
Yeah. And I actually don't think he will blame anybody or blame himself. I think he's going to find a way to just divert it, be like, it's their fault. And that so he'll be set up as like at least one of the main villains again for season 3. I want him to be the main villain, but I kind of like the setup they have of a shifting narrative throughout the entire seasons. The first season it was like accidental. Here it was like, oh, here's the Hydra stuff. Now we bring in the Hinduans, and now just a mix of everything, 4 plot lines at the same time. Like, God, the season was good. Let's move on from Agent Grant Ward because we're not done with him. Yeah. But let's talk about the person who tried to kill Agent Melinda May.
Yeah. So she's had a lot of interesting stuff happen. Like it sort of feels like well, actually, okay, I stand corrected. I was going to say that she's been kind of sidelined, but she did get an entire episode that was like dedicated to her backstory. So I can't really say that. I think in like these bigger, more explosive episodes, she's like running around doing what she can, taking care of business. I mean, that's May for you. You know, she's slipping in and out. She's getting it done. But yeah, we get to see more of her vulnerable side in this season, especially like her relationship with her ex-husband, who becomes kind of a therapist for Coulson and company, you know. So he finds sort of a way to come into it, and we see the things that May gave up to be where she is, and so that kind of gives a different like color to her character, I suppose. But yeah, what did you think?
I love her, but I think I really do like the addition of her ex-husband, who maybe they have a little thing again. Because I mean, there was always that little hint of leftover feelings, you know, like, between them in his previous episode, and I would like to see him become more full-time on the show as well.
Yeah,
I think not everyone needs to be ass kicking in the Shield. Like even Fitz and Simmons got their hands out in the field this year a lot. Yeah, I'd like to see someone just home base, like don't bring guns around me, just want to talk type of thing. Totally. You know? And then of course have them reluctantly bring him out into the field and all that good stuff. As for May, I liked her in the finale. I would kind of wish she had more to do a little bit, but that's just because I like her character a lot. She still got to kick plenty of ass. Yeah. And when she teamed up with what's his face, the Inhumans kid with the electricity, that was pretty cool. Where he has to talk her down, like, no, we're not all dicks. Just don't shoot her. And then he shocks her. Yeah, that was cool. She didn't have a big moment to herself, I don't think, or not that I could think of in the finale. But I think she's had her big stuff throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's what I would say, because she's sort of running support throughout the entire episode. She's filling whatever role she needs to fill, and finally the woman who's been parading as her for like a season is gone, so we get one May now at long last. But yeah, I mean, definitely she was kind of held off on to make room for what's going on with the Inhumans, and so she's still very much a part of S.H.I.E.L.D., but S.H.I.E.L.D. is not exclusively at the center of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. So yeah, it's kind of that interesting thing. But I think she still had some pretty big moments in the season, though.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Two people I've always, they're my favorite. Fitz and Simmons are my favorite. I was going to tease it, but no, they're my favorites. I like what they had to do a lot in the finale. Simmons,
Yeah.
again, I think could have used a little more, but I liked Fitz getting out into the field, and I thought he died when they were fighting the guy without eyes.
I know.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh.
Like, I was going to lose my mind. I was going to be done with the show for like an hour. I was going to pause it, walk away, and like eat my feelings away, and then come back. You know, like I got so mad, and then a second later you find out it's Gordon. Haha, remember?
Haha.
Yeah, and the pole sticking out of him. I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, whew, I got too scared.
They had so many moments like that. They're just like, see this person you love? Haha, they're almost dead. Like, they kept doing it. Oh man!
But they actually work because we like these characters now, and that's such a cool little signifier of how much the show has grown. You know?
Totally. Yeah.
And, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say this might be jumping ahead a bit, but while we are on the subject of Fitz and Simmons, a certain somebody got eaten by the Kree stone.
I know. What the hell was that?
I know, because it's like, so they have the last like 2 minutes of the episode, the happy victorious strings music is playing, and everybody's trying to find their place in the world, and the war has been averted, blah 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 blah. And then they come back after the commercial break, and they're like, oh, by the way, you know.
Yeah, by the way, cliffhanger. Boom. And that's a hell of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, because we have no idea what this means. Like, at least I don't. I haven't read any of the comics that are related to that part of the universe. So I don't know.
I have no idea what that stone is. I'm just going to be Googling everything for like the next week until we do our season 2 review. Next week, come back for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got nothing. I mean, it's traditional Whedon show stuff.
Yeah.
Where they're like, here's Happy. Now I'm going to take that from you. Like, I swear to God, in the final season of Angel, these characters got together. And I was like, finally, it's been 3 seasons. Like, they're so happy. And it was great. And then the next episode, it's like, oh, she died. And I was like, it was so frustrating.
Oh, man.
And
yeah, but... What? I almost like left the room because I thought the episode was just done, and then I'm like, oh, okay, they're talking about going on their date, and it's so cute, and then I don't even anymore. But I did read that the actress who portrays Simmons, she was talking about how she thinks that it's like a portal to somewhere, and this could be a really big game changer for her character. I mean, I really have to commend the show on the fact that like it hasn't been stagnant. Like, they don't just keep having everyone return to this status quo. I mean, sure, like at the end of the episode, everyone's sort of like, oh, this relationship, and like Bobby and Hunter are kind of having a moment, and then May sort of has a moment with her ex-husband, and then Simmons is like, actually, I think that I want to talk about the fact that you said that you had feelings for me before we almost died. Like, you know, it all kind of seems to happen at once, but in the broad scheme of things, everybody is just like, the game is totally shifted and everybody's in a very different place, and the show doesn't feel the need to just keep everyone like, okay, back to S.H.I.E.L.D. and it's always growing and evolving, even if people are getting sucked into mystery portals and doing God knows what, you know.
Maybe we'll get to see, I don't know, it's comics, so there's portals to other places or something, or I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
next time, because there's a lot to talk about still. Yeah, I'm so mad that the cliffhanger was good. It's a really good one. And if the show had been canceled, I would have lost my mind.
I know, I would have been not have ended on that. There's no way. That would have been
the death of me, the literal death of me.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's see what else we got here. All right, we talked about the core team. We talked about Bobby and Hunter a little bit. Let's just talk about the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D., including Mac. I mean, we kind of touched on Mac, but I mean, I like that they've all kind of re-centralized their focus on Coulson. It's like, oh shit, Gonzalez is dead. Coulson, you got this. Like they wanted Coulson out, but when Chef came to push, it's like, oh
Yeah.
shit, we need help. And then Coulson's
Mhm.
the best guy for the job, and
There
that's
you
cool to
go.
me. It's not a big
Hmm.
moment or anything like that. It's just kind of embedded in the script and the direction and the
Yeah,
characters. So I like that stuff. You know.
totally. Totally. So it was good to kind of see him sort of reinstated, and everybody is coming to terms with where he's at and realizing that it's important to have him in this. And even though this whole other shield formed in order to stay away from Coulson, now they've come back to Coulson. You just can't get away, baby.
Yes,
Mm-mm.
I think I'm out. They
Yep.
pull other people into my life. Yeah, that's it.
So just so you know, when somebody tries to go make a cool club without you, their leader is going to get knocked, and you're going to go lead their cool club. So
All
that
right. Hey,
that's
that
the way
happened
it works.
twice.
Yeah, I know.
With Gonzalez and Jair. There you go.
Yep. So it's cool to see that now. You know, even though there's sort of the remnants of the two different shields, they're coming back together. And so we're not going to necessarily be dealing with the whole like, oh, everybody versus Coulson stuff again. I think that we're going to be focused more on sort of how the Inhumans are being brought into this, and in light of the fallout of this war that got started. You know, how do we make this work? How do we there's just so many places that they could go with this, and I'm very excited about it all.
I know, me
Um,
too. And then next up, I guess we'll just wrap up on this. Inhumans and Kyle MacLachlan. That's what I have in my notes. Is Kyle
oh
MacLachlan,
my
man, he's so
god.
good. But the Inhuman stuff, it was good. It was really good.
Hmm.
It's not I was disappointed that they didn't do this or that the show should have done this,
Yeah.
but I want to see more Inhuman stuff. I mean, this testament to the show, not just me being whiny. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to see where they all go after this.
Hmm.
Reyna's dead. That was a big shocker. I was like, oh, this is going to be a
Yeah.
recurring villain like Grant Ward. Like, she's a good
Uh-huh.
character for that. And then I was like, oh, well, you know what? Reyna's come to her own self-discovery of who she is now.
Yep.
I think she's going to be a good she just got stabbed in the throat. Never mind.
She reached self-actualization and got killed as soon as she did. It's kind of tragic. But you know, because she's like, I am the angel and the messenger, and like sort of she's fulfilled her role by showing Sky that like your mother is not the end of this, she's not the head of this ship, she's actually trying to take it down. Had that seed not been planted in Sky's mind, like she could still be duking it out with S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, it's hard to say when exactly it would have occurred to her that everything was wrong, but she certainly did end up serving a big role in that way. And at least now we know that Reyna's character isn't simply going to become this crutch of like, oh, foreshadowing, like every single week. You know, they're not going to exploit her. And so even though she had a very like kind of tragic end to her life, I'm glad that she reached a point of understanding at least before she left, you know?
Yeah, like 13 episodes or so ago, she's like, I'm going to kill Sky. And now she's like, Sky, wait, don't trust your mom. She's crazier than I was. Don't listen to her.
Yep.
She's nonsensical. Yeah,
Nope.
she's a goofball who wants to kill everyone, and then she dies for it. But yeah, that's a good end for that character. I mean, that would have been kind of interesting to see her team up with Inhumans and S.H.I.E.L.D. down the line, and then I think she's a perfect character to kill off once she had that self realization and that understanding of who she truly is. So either way, it would have been good. But yeah, she was marked for death, sort of like any character that's like in a leadership role who's like, I'll protect you. It's like, of course they're gonna die, you know?
Yeah, although it was kind of weird how like as soon as Jiaying like stabbed her in the neck, like Sky was there. And I'm like, Sky, couldn't you have just shaken things up a little? But then again, she really didn't like Reyna, so it was this sort of like, I think you could just imagine her being like, I'm gonna save you.
Yeah. Right,
I'm
Mom,
close.
don't do it. Oh no,
Oh
sorry,
no,
Raina, my bad. I
that
tried.
sucks.
Whoops.
That's
I
kind of
closed,
how I
dude.
felt. Oh man.
Like gargling blood. Whoa, my bad. Oh shit.
Oh, yeah, dang. No, it looks like it hurt.
Oh god.
Oh,
That's like some
yeah.
Breaking Bad thing. Like, oh, whoops, I'm turning you over on your back now to choke on your
Oh.
blood. Whoops,
A
my
key
bad.
moment.
Yeah.
Gosh. Oh man. But so Jiaying was straight up like a hybrid of Magneto and like Darth Vader. I was thinking Darth Vader in the last
Oh, that's a
moment
good
when
one. Yeah.
yeah, like when she and Sky are like, you could join me, like our forces.
Yeah. Oh my god, how did I not think of that? That's exactly Darth
Yeah,
Vader.
totally. There's a lot of Star Wars themes in this episode that
I
I
mean,
was
hey,
kind of
If you're gonna like riff on something, Star Wars is probably the best one to do.
oh yeah, it is. But yeah, I mean, I am really astonished at the twist that was taken with her character because what's interesting about Jiaying is that she's so the opposite of her counterpart, Cal, who goes insane in order to sustain her insatiable desire to live forever, just all consuming. It's crazy because you look at her and you don't see that. She's just so cold and so serene and just keeping everything together all the time. So she's a very different kind of foe from Cal, who's like, I'm going to crush you. And just so driven by that passion, where she is like the opposite of it. And getting to see into that story from Call slash Hyde's perspective and how she was changed after she was put back together, and sort of seeing into that and why he like just took out these villages. It was not just because of him. So totally, it was such a cool reversal of those characters that I didn't see coming, and that really made for a very emotional finale in so many ways. But yeah, just really mind blowing. And Carl is just never more sympathetic for us, I think, seeing him in that moment as Coulson has him like smashed up against the wall with his car, like actively trying to restrain him. And he's coming to this realization of like, yeah, this is what's going on. I need to stop this. And once it becomes a family matter for him, he's not like, I'm going to take out as many shield agents as I can. He kind of cuts to the chase.
Yeah, and I really like that arc because at first I was like, I just want him to be evil, but no, he gets a nice little sympathetic arc, and not all villains
Yeah.
need to be sympathetic. But when you get it right, you get it right, and they got it pretty darn on the nose here, and the nail on the head, whatever little euphemism you want to use, it worked, and yeah, I was actually a little happy, sad, happy, like tears of joy. There you go.
Yeah.
Where he gets his little happy ending, he gets his fresh start. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that was kind of nice.
I know. I was
actually.
I was really sad about it because I, like you, wanted to just see him go like full supervillain. I think that we're getting that with Ward, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ward's not going to get the big makeup and the stuff, and that's like maybe a minor criticism I have is that his Mr. Hyde makeup didn't look too good. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
right.
I was like waiting for it. I kept waiting for it, even like after he had transformed. I was like, okay, that's a good start. But I mean, just Kyle MacLachlan's performance sells it. So it's like, even though he's not all that dressed up, like he brings the rage. That's for sure. So it's. Oh, go ahead.
I kind of wish that we could keep him around for next season. I mean, he's still there, but I mean, I feel like if you don't have a great reason to bring him back, or like a great story that you cannot do without him, this is a nice place to leave him off.
Totally. And I mean, I'm just so glad that he and Sky got to have that moment of like just love and appreciating one another. Sky finally understands. I mean, we think back to when she first learned of her father and how utterly repulsed she was by him and just driven to take him down. And so getting this last goodbye in this moment where they just sort of get to cherish one another, and this is like her last living family, it makes it really sad, honestly, like when he's back taking care of dogs and you're just like, all of the stuff just happens. I was very upset. But I mean, maybe there's a slight chance that they didn't do Project Tahiti like quite enough and he'll remember something. I don't know. But man, what a guy. What
anything's
a pal.
possible.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I almost dropped like an entire glass of green tea on my floor and my foot, so just ignore that. I mean, I think we pretty much covered all the character stuff. I don't want to spend another forever on everything. I guess those are our thoughts on the season 2 finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Do you have anything else you want to add before we start wrapping up?
Oh man, I mean, I think it was quite the adventure, and I was sort of thinking over the course of the episode, like, how are they going to have room to set anything up for the next season? I kind of felt like it was all just going to end and like, boom, the curtain comes up and everybody takes their bows, but they did a good job of leaving the breadcrumb trails for us to follow into the next season. I really hope that they're able to like keep the ratings up enough to warrant the continuation of this, because I think that they've laid a really good foundation. They've made me love a show that I had completely stopped watching, and I'm still forever in their debt for that reason. So I think this was a really good end and beginning of new things.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a fresh start now. And then Grant Ward's obviously just like fuck everything, and I think that's fun to watch next season.
Yeah.
But our full season review recap thing will be up next week, and we'll have a lot more to talk about because holy crap, that was just the finale, and that was like a long time. But yeah, that was pretty good. I liked it. That's fine. No, it was good. I might watch it. No, but for real, everyone watch the show now because it's good. It's good now. Don't let it get canceled now. I mean, maybe they could form a nice little 3-season arc, but would we all rather have like a wonderful 9-season arc? I think we would. On that note, Emily, where can the people find you?
You can find me on the YouTubes at Mighty Sophia, EM, the word mighty, SOFIA, which is also my public Facebook page and my Twitter page, Mighty Sophia. You can also find me on Tumblr sometimes at I am the cruel one. So there you go.
All right. Of course, all the links down, the doobie-doo. Of course, get me at the Waffle Press. Subscribe to the Waffle Press podcast. Like and share this video. Like and share all the videos, please. Get me at audienceseverywhere.net. I'm doing a little Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back retrospective thing for the anniversary because it's kind of one of the greatest movies ever made. And yeah, like and subscribe to all this stuff, playlists, everything. Check it all out. We have all of the season 2 reviews for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we did down below. Next week, season 2 full review. And then I will also be doing reviews of the Flash and Arrow seasons, which I'm going to go watch the season finale of Arrow right now. And I don't think it'll be as good, but I'd love to be proven wrong. All right. Well, thank you again for joining me, Emily. Always a pleasure.
Yes, of course.
And we have been professionally unprofessional.